Hey, hey, difference makers. It's Debbie Markland, and guess what day it is? It is Thursday. It's check-in Thursday, and I'm so excited to jump on in here just to check in with you. And today, as we are just on the heels of our, I would say, what our July 4th holiday that's coming up, where we're celebrating independence and freedom. I just wanted to come in here and check in to see how you're doing, to see what you're up to see what are some of the lessons that you're learning in life and what you're applying, what you are being strategic about in your life. And I wanted to share with you some of the things that I love to read. If anybody knows me, I love reading. I go through books very, very fast, and I just don't read just for reading's sake. I read to really garnish and harvest some really amazing gold nuggets out of the books that I read, and of course, turn them into programs that I can share with you, that I can help you with to up level your life as you're continuing to grow and be the very best that you can possibly be, not just for yourself but for those around you, so that you can make the difference in their lives. While you may be familiar with the father of personal growth and development, I call him the father of personal growth and development, Napoleon Hill. What you may not know is, in addition to his classical and famous book, Think and Grow Rich, with which I think most of you know, Napoleon Hill also wrote another book called Outwitting the Devil, The Secret to Freedom and Success. That book is such an amazing book. It was released back in 2011, and it contains, I think, some profound insights. And one of the insights that I pulled out of it, so I can share it with you today. It's a simple one. It's so simple that you might have missed it if you've ever read the book. But it's a quote, and the quote says, "From what you say, I infer that time is the friend of the person who trains his mind to follow positive thought habits, and is the enemy of the person who drifts into negative thought habits." Okay, so this is, again, one tiny sentence in that book that is super power packed. It is a gold nugget. Um, the book, that I mentioned, Outwitting the Devil, is a book that might not have been published. It actually was published after Napoleon's death, and I think his family were afraid of publishing the book. If you've read Think and Grow Rich, you're familiar with his style, his writing style. But this book is a little bit different. It tells a story from a, I think, conversational point of view, and the conversation is between Napoleon, or the character of Napoleon in the book, and the devil himself. So Napoleon dares to have a conversation with the devil about the nature of life and the nature of prosperity and the nature of manifestation. And in it are just some absolutely profound insights, again, and gold nuggets found in this book. But I think, the story behind this book, again, is that it might not have been released, but it was. It was released. And it gets into things that sometimes we can miss in life, but it's a book not just about success. It is about significance, and it's about, again, making the difference in this world if you know how to outwit the devil. But it's not about selling your soul to the devil. It is about knowing the tricks that Satan can play on you, so that you cannot end up living out your purpose, and so that you can not end up finding meaning in this life. So it's it's actually about understanding what steals your success, what steals your significance, what can even steal, um, cause you to miss out on why you're here, cause you to miss out on doing what it is that you came here to do. You know, he does go through a whole conversation with the devil. That's why the quote that I just read kind of starts off, because this is Napoleon, now saying back to the devil, right, to the character, the devil. He's saying, okay, so from what you say, right, he's talking back to the devil. So what from what you say, I infer the time is a friend of the person who trains his mind to follow positive thought habits, and is the enemy of the person who drifts into negative thought habits. When you hear that, knowing the context around it, you can see how truly powerful this quote is. So powerful. One of the things that I also love about this book is it gets just kind of anecdotal and funny. Is that when Napoleon surmises what the devil says in a good way, like a quick one-liner, the devil gets all mad and basically like say, no, 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 don't tell others this. Don't let anybody else know this. Don't, please keep this to yourself, right? Because I don't want them to know what they need to do to succeed. I wouldn't have, he's basically realizing that he wouldn't have any power over people if people realizes this. And not only if they realize it, but if they start to be strategic about changing their thought habit. But, again, as we get into the meat of the quote, let's just look at this. That again, time is the friend of the person who trained his mind to follow positive thought habits. Now he says time is a friend, so we can understand then that time is on our side. For the person who trains his mind, not the person who trains his body, or the person who trains his mind for wealth, or the person who trains his mind to follow positive thought habits. Not the person who trains his mind to follow his eating habits, or who trains his mind for changing his workout habits, or even change his mind to do journaling or anything like that. Now, of course, all of those things are positive physical action habits that you can lead, to positive thought habits. But he's talking about establishing constructive forms of thought consistently so that time can continue to help you build that consistency and compound into something positive. I think about Philippians 4:8 that talks about, really keeping your thoughts continually fixed on all that is authentic and real, honorable and admirable, beautiful and respectful, pure and holy, merciful and kind. And fasten your thoughts on every glorious work of God, praising him always. I love that verse in Philippians 4:8. Again, when you live with consistency, you learn that the rewards you seek in life don't come after you. After you take that one step, they come when you've taken a journey to a place where you've never been before. Consistency is key for growth and transformation. So although it's not easy, it's critical for success, right? Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. John Maxwell said that. So consistency compounds teaching. So if you train your mind to think the thoughts that are positive thoughts, that are pure thoughts, that consistency. But that's exactly, what is behind this quote. What you consistently do will compound. How you consistently think will compound. Compounding is really the effect of your actions over time. Consistency means that you're doing the same thing over and over again. So doing the same thing over and over again will have a compounding effect over time. So if you're thinking bad thoughts consistently, then time is your enemy because it just continues to compound. It makes your life miserable. It makes your experience not very enjoyable. It makes you not very resourceful. And if you consistently think in a positive way, the converse, right? If we use our thoughts positively, habitually in that consistent way, then it compounds in a way that becomes our friend. That means our results are they're better and more miraculous. I like to look at it that way, more miraculous and more exciting the longer the time goes on. So it's the same tool, either way. But how we spend it is how we use it either makes it our friend or our enemy, right? And here's a thing to note also: positive thought habits don't mean perpetual optimism or ever flowing with blue skies and rainbow thinking. It's not that. Positive thought habits really mean you ask yourself the question: is this constructive? Does this build my life? Does it destruct my life? Right? So if it's constructive, and that means that that thought habit adds to you, that you gain from thinking that particular way, if there's some benefit in that, right? So you've got to think, oftentimes it really comes down to to do to this do you have the habit of resourcefulness and ability to pull yourself through any situation, right? So positive thought habits don't always mean positive thoughts. It means, however, are your thoughts being constructive toward what you're looking for out of your life and from your goals? Right. So to remind you, what Napoleon Hill says in the book Outwitting the Devil, he says, "From what you say, I infer that time is the friend of the person who trains his mind to follow positive thought habits, and is the enemy of the person who drifts into negative thought habits." You know, um, so now it's time for you to check in with yourself. Check in with yourself, because after all, it is check-in Thursday, right? This is a check-in Thursday moment. And I really want to challenge you to tune out the negative thought habit voices that are constantly there, that may sometimes sneak into your head, and instead act on the thoughts inspired by your internal constructive thought habits. Act on those thoughts. Be intentional, be strategic about it. And think about, what's one action that you can do to make the difference in the life of someone else today. And just really think about that. What what can you do to make the difference in the life of someone else today? Because after all, it's all about you daring to be you, you daring to be your own uniqueness so that you can make the difference in this world that only you can make. Thanks for joining, and I will check in with you next Thursday. Create a great day.